Okay, my name is Ita Goldberger Amram. The name Ita is given to me after my grandmother, my father's mother, who perished in Auschwitz. And I'm carrying it with me as a name, as a stamp in my DNA. So I was born in Israel. Both my parents are Holocaust survivors, but my father was really exposed to it much more than most of his family perished. He is from Czechoslovakia, speaking basically Hungarian and Yiddish. Yiddish is a Jewish German. And so my father comes from that background with Hungarian influence because it was a Austro-Hungarian influence there. And my mother comes from Bulgaria. Her father was from Turkey. And her grandmother was from Spain. And that was from the Ottoman Empire. So they were moving between Turkey, Bulgaria, Spain, the Middle East, and carrying with it the food from Turkey, and Bulgaria, which is a lot of vegetables and spices from the Middle East, basically. And they met in Israel after the war. They all were immigrants, refugees in Israel. And I was born just a couple of years later and grew up there. So in the house we had food that was from Hungary and from Bulgaria and from Turkey and from Spain. And the neighbors were from Romania and Iran and Yemen and, And as children, we used to go to each other's house and we ate food and heard languages that we were exposed to, from Arabic to Yemen to Persian to Romania to, all the languages basically, because everybody came to Israel after 48. So that's how I grew up, in a multilingual, multicultural, Middle Eastern country. Parents starting their life from scratch, point zero. And that's why the word Genesis in my life is just who I am. Because the word Genesis epitomizes building from nothing. I mean, in Hebrew, the word Genesis is Bereshit, and the root to it is creating something from nothing. It's so powerful. And so you create your life with the only thing you've got, and this is yourself. A lot of people in Israel, because they were refugees, they were fighting for their own rights, kind of, it will never happen to me again. But my father's concept was, it will never happen again to anyone, not only to Jews, but not to Palestinians, not to anyone. And growing up with this in our DNA, in a way, was... it's not going there, I have to save my children in a way. I have to give them a better life. And after their father passed away, and we decided with my sister and myself to move as far as possible from the Middle East. So Genesis is where we are now. It's a vegetarian cafe, and this is, in a way, a creation of moving to Australia. I moved to Australia with my family 17 years ago, with my children and my sister and everybody else, carrying with us everything. And we decided we are who we are. And so you start Genesis with what you're carrying with you, but from the beginning in a way. So I opened a music school here to start with, and this community center that we hoped will be a place where we can invite people in, we can cook the food we know, we can give the love we abundant love I feel towards people and nature, and combine the thing and be creative as well and support the community. And this place, I think, is, you know, it's not too bad to what we hoped it to be. Always, you know. But this place is in nature, organic, take care of what grows up here. We grow also our things. We have our chickens. And we have a vegetarian restaurant because we believe vegetarian is a say, both a political and an environmental say. And we create every day as it comes. The place has local artists that have their art exposed on the walls, and it has been since we opened 9 years ago. Every month we've got a new artist, local artist. We've got music. We've got good food. We embrace the community. We are part, basically, of where we are. I think at the end of the day, people are people are people are people. And if you are true to yourself and you come with your whatever you've got to give, people will feel it. I feel when people are not nice to me, and I feel when people are nice to me. And so people feel people feel it. Wherever you are, people know who you are, you know. Every day at a step, every day is a genesis. Every day is looking towards the opportunity in optimistic way of looking at life. And that's what that's what we are. That's the best we can do. I can't invent myself. And that's who we are. Years ago, we started a women's group. Me and a Christian nun, a Muslim woman, and myself created a women's group to discuss our common ground so we can come together. And this developed into what was then the Abrahamic Alliance. And the Abrahamic Alliance was more than just women. It was the Abrahamic faith meeting together and on a monthly basis, talking about the common grounds we all have. And the friendship that were built out of this, it was kind of, that's how life should be. That's beyond the separation, you know. It's beyond, it's Genesis in its epitome, you know. It's optimistic being. My father had some relatives surviving also from Europe, and about a couple of times a year they would come to visit. And my mother had her relatives, or even when we had friends for dinners. We were not wealthy. My father was a very hard-working man. He would take the pot from the thing and come and put it on the table and say, "Please have, please take." Oh, I feel like overwhelmed by this, you know. This is what I've got. Take it, you know, because I've got nothing much than that. So take my love. You know, that's life. And my high school, for example, was about 100 meters from my house, and they knew that my mom bakes fantastic things for Friday, for the Sabbath. So every Friday they would say, let's go to your mum. And so my mum baked certain things for my friends because she knew Friday in between classes we would run home and she will bake this, and it was like, heaven. She is the best cook and bake, everything, because her father was in profession a baker in Bulgaria. So this is what food means to us. So at home, at my, at my home with my husband and my kids, food was the center. And when we went to my husband's family, there was always like, oh, the colors, the smells, the life, the generosity of sharing. And that comes in food. I mean, what else more can you do? You cook it. In my case now, I grow it. Yeah, you know, take, have it. It's what I've got to do. That's part of what love is. And being creative as well. So nowadays I can cook something that is, it's not Moroccan, it's not Bulgarian, it's something that is me, creative, new, but still, yeah, it's just love and sharing and giving, and that's what food is.